hell with them.
Yeah. All right, we're back, I think. Uh, Big Brother. Okay, like I was saying, I was asking you about the couple pictures that you put up in a little video that you put up about cooking with some of the chefs and stuff like that. They looked like they were very open to that. You know what I'm saying?
Um, yeah. So the first one in when we were in Viareggio, there was a little takeaway store, like a corner store that you'd go to, and they had a lot of takeaway food. They had salads, they had hot food, cold food, desserts, wine. But it was in a little storefront, not much bigger than you know, just a small store. So it was a block away from our house. And some days I'd like to cook. Some days we went out. And other days, yeah, let's go see what's at this place. So we went down, and then we went down again, and then we went down again. And so we were there probably 5 or 6 times. And you'd get, this chicken and this fish and this and that and that. And, so I speak Italian. So I was speaking Italian to the owner chef, and my disjointed Italian, I should say. Um, and she became very friendly because I wasn't being a obnoxious American. I was trying to fit in, and since I was there every day, we became pretty friendly. So as I was getting ready to leave to move to our next city, um, hello, Marie. Um, I went in and dropped off my card to them and said, I'm gonna, I just wanted to tell you that I really like your stuff. I do, I cook back in the United States. I said I'm an amateur chef and a professional eater, and you guys hit all the high notes here. Um, so I got back to our apartment, and my wife said, you should take a picture with them. I said, okay, and so I go back the next day and I said, yeah, can I get a picture? And you would have thought the Pope walked in. She said, oh, I'm so honored that you're here. And she looked at my site and thought that I was, some famous person. I said, I'm just, just a guy.
With a camera.
Right. So, but really they thought I was just, I don't know what they thought, but she did say I'm honored and I'm so happy to. And she said, I said, oh, of course. I said, let me. She wanted to send me recipes and let me tell you how we make this. And why don't you come back and I'll show you how to make this and da da. So I went back in the kitchen and met the other people that were there. And she couldn't have been nicer. They all couldn't. So I gave them, one of my aprons. Oh, that's what I went to give them one of my aprons. So now I think they wear it.
Yeah, all the time.
Right, and those are back there. So that was pretty cool. That they thought I was somebody.
Yeah.
And then we had a professional chef, a personal chef, come over, and it was a combination of making a Tuscan meal, me cooking with the chef, and then making a video about everything. And this guy was Joe Russo, he worked on yachts, large yachts,
Oh, right.
as a chef in Italy. He's born in Massachusetts, so
Okay.
he's from Sicily. His parents, family from Sicily, but he speaks very good English. But we got along great. But it was we had a galley kitchen, and then Joe's a big guy, I'm a big guy, so two of us in this galley
Banging.
kitchen, right, trying to prepare a meal. He made 5 appetizers, the cinque antipasti, um, all seafood, and with the exception of the mussels, everything was fresh and raw. Um, he made what my favorite was this shrimp tartare, which I just finished doing a video on, and I'll have that up a little bit. But they use gambero rosso, which is also Patagonian shrimp in the United States. It's raw, but if you ever see Patagonian shrimp in the store under the seafood, they have red shells, and if you take the shell off, the meat is red underneath. I guess
Mm-hmm.
there's something about because they're in the it's in the near the Arctic waters, and they exist. The meat, you don't have to cook it. I mean, you can, but
Mm-hmm.
the Patagonian shrimp. So he made a tartare out of the Patagonian, what Gambaroso red shrimp there. He made took fresh anchovies, caught that day, stripped off the tail, marinated them in a little olive oil with some Calabrian uh, red onions. That was raw. It's a red mullet, the Triggy and Italian red mullet in the United States. Little fish, but not that big.
Yeah.
Um, Again, marinated. It's kind of a ceviche type of thing where it's
Right.
marinated in citrus, lemon, olive oil, salt, and pepper. And it was it was delicious. What else did we have? We had scampi, which are the same type of flesh because you can eat it. It can eat it raw, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing one. Anchovies. The anchovies. Anyway, so that was, and so we got to be friendly,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted, he kept wanting me to do more and more, and I said, Joe, I'm good. I'll, I'll I'll stir, I'll help, I'll learn, I'll absorb, but I'll hold the camera. But yeah, again, very open. And then I would meet, as I want to do, chefs in restaurants, and I would ask them, so how do you make this? What is this? How is this prepared? And they're very open to saying, I don't guess there's any secrets, but that's one thing I found. There wasn't anybody saying, no, it's a secret. I'm not going to tell you. It's like,
Right.
yeah, I'm very, um, I'm, I'm thankful that you would even ask that. Is kind of how it came across.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean, because the interest. I mean, they're everyday people that go in there and they just take it for granted. But come from the U.S. over to another country, there's that curiosity, like you were saying before about that shrimp. I think it's because of the salt. The colder the water, the more dense the salt is, and that
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
just that'll
But
almost like
so
ceviche.
if there's several kinds of raw shrimp that if you go, they have the tail on. Those are the peel and eat. You got to steam them or boil them or whatever. And then there's some other larger ones. And then the gamba rosa, the Patagonian shrimp. They look like they're already cooked, but they're raw. And
Right.
those are the
Right.
ones that they kind of have the same lobster. Okay, yeah, but it's saltwater fish, so they're not freshwater.
Yeah.
Um,
Didn't you have octopus too? Didn't he do an octopus?
Not Joe. I had octopus. Where did I have that? Um,
Yeah, baby octopus, I believe it was, right? One of the smaller ones.
oh my god, it was. Oh, I was at the kind of high end place we went to in Luke. I wish I could remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was. I've had really good octopus, not calamari, but
Mm-hmm.
but
Octopus, yeah.
yes, and it was had a little teeny crunch to it because it was slightly
Grilled.
breaded, but it was melt in your mouth. It had been cooked, not overcooked and rubbery. It was so good, and so I would be afraid to even try to make it. It
Yeah.
was just so. It was one of the best things I ate there, um, and of course the pizza. There's no. Sorry, anybody from Chicago, but there's no such thing as deep dish pizza in
And
Italy,
yeah. Yeah.
unless you go to a Chicago style eatery that's
Well, that
been Americanized.
yeah, Chicago pizza is more or less that was it, like an invention, that put everything into one thing, into a deeper dish,
Right.
almost like a mistake. Yeah, some of it's good. I mean, yeah, I mean, let's pile this on, let's try this, let's try that. Um, the thing about getting back to the octopus, now that's one of my favorites. I mean, I've been to a lot of different Italian restaurants in New York, Philadelphia, and then when I moved to Florida, there was a place in Florida. And I tell you what, it was grilled. The way they grilled it, it was superb. But as we're walking into the restaurant, the people that we were with, it was four, it was four of us. They said it's this guy. He started talking, speaking Italian to the owner. The owner greeted you at the door, and what part of Italy you from? And he said, I'm from Naples, and then his wife, where are you from? Well, from here. They said to Marie, where are you from? And Marie says, well, I'm from Sicily. Okay, and they said to me, what part are you from? I said, Dublin.
That's very northern Italy.
Yeah. So we sit down, and he come over, and he said, no menu. Okay, well, whatever. You can't go wrong. But when he brought out the octopus, I tell you what, that was my eyes got like like a cartoon, and it was done perfect. It was just, I mean, just unbelievable on the grill. They grilled it up and everything, but it was so tender.
Yeah.
And I mean, I used to make it quite a bit back in the day, but you miss 2 minutes either way, you got junk.
Exactly. Exactly. It is an art to cook octopus so that it's both melt in your mouth, tender, but also cooked and has a little bit of give to it. It's and as you were saying it, I'm thinking, I think he steamed it and then flash grilled it, so it got a little bit of the crunch, but it was not overdone at all. It was wonderful.
Yeah, there was a couple places in Little Italy in New York that I used to go, and they had some of the greatest galamad. Here he is. Lance. So, yeah, I mean, the galamad was
in the Chesapeake Bay. Is that what Lance is saying?
Yeah, unbelievable. But yeah, we used to frequent them. Yeah, I like the oddball stuff. I mean, stuff that you're not going to make at home every day or stuff like that. Now, let's get to the crux of the matter here. The pasta.
Yeah. Most places, it's fresh pasta.
Yeah,
they make it there.
Yep. I just did a thing.
And the sauces are not.
They're not condensed. I don't think it's all fresh tomatoes.
Yeah, it's simple. There's not overly spiced. I was when I was with Joe Russo, I said something that you put a little oregano. Says, oh no, we don't use oregano. No. Olive oil. They use almost all olive oil and very little butter. Mm-hmm. A little salt and pepper, but there's no extraneous spices that that I would put in. So that's one of the things I learned. It's simplicity in the sauces. They're very easy to make. They're not complex at all. But it's the freshness of the ingredients that make the dish so spectacular.
Yeah, and like I said, in one Italian restaurant, I trained under the guy. I mean, I thought my name was Summon a Bitch, but no, you don't put nothing into the sauce. Nothing into the sauce.
Right.
He did use a lot of butter though in the sauce to get the acidity down, and it gave it that silky type of thing. Plus olive oil, but the butter he said something about the butter would actually take it out, smooth it out a little bit better, but nothing else. Now, if you wanted to throw that in at the end when you served it for what the flavor was, that's what you did from there. But yeah, I mean, now the pastas. I'm going to get into this a little bit because actually tomorrow I'm in a collaboration with Noodle November. Okay, and it's pretty good, pretty funny. It's all scratch made, but as I was doing it, what I did was I made twisted ravioli. Okay, let's get this out of the way right here. Okay, and as I was doing, I could hear Marie going, "Oh, oh." I said, "What's the matter?"
Her ancestors in Italy.
Yeah, her ancestors were stabbing her in the side, I guess. But what I've been doing, Charlie, is I switched my way of doing things. I started making. I just made a pizza not too long ago for my grandson, but I'm using semolina. It's semolina, but it's double milled.
Okay.
It's like 00 flour, and I tell you what, it has a little bit more of a crunch to it because I like the thin crust. But as far as pasta's concerned, what a flavor! I mean, just simple. That semolina, water, and salt. That's it. No eggs, no nothing else. And
Yeah,
hey,
I think you're one of the things that I recall when um, the making the different types of pasta. And we also let me remind me to talk to you about nudi, um, but they use double X flour, just a double milled, um, and I think a lot of it, especially the pasta side, was semolina. So probably exactly right on that.
yeah, the
One of the places we went into that was fairly close to our place in Luca's place called Casa Nonna, which is grandma's house. Um, and as you walked in on the left side, there's a woman um, in kind of in a window making ravioli by hand, rolling it by hand, rolling it out, putting little drips and drabs of whatever they were making, put another sheet on top, cutting it by hand, tossing it in flour, and then moving it to the side. And that was, either that's what you're having. That you want fresh ravioli, there it is.
right
And
there.
in other places, the same thing. It was the pastas, they're making it, they're rolling it out by hand.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no, which I use, the Cuisinart, the what do you call it, the
yeah.
KitchenAid with the attachment. No,
I
no,
got
no,
to tell you,
hand roll.
I no, I got to tell you something. I had the one I've had for years now. Okay, when we actually not for years. I got left the one I had in Florida, and when we moved out here, because we no truck, no nothing. I sold everything. Okay, and the one I had was probably about 15 years old. The crank for the pasta had the cutters on it. Everything was built in it. The new one I get, all right, we don't use it all the time. I take it out and I'm starting to roll the dough through it. Okay, and I'm rolled through one, keep turning it, moving the settings. Next thing I know, I'm looking at the pasta and I'm looking at it. I see little. It was something shiny from the light coming down as I was filming it. The rollers were starting to chip.
Ugh,
There's some kind of coating on it. So you got
right.
to be kidding me. All right, so I mean, it's past warranty. I mean, who am I going to call? Hey, it's probably made in China to begin with. But anyway, I said, you know what? I'm going back old way. I'm just going to roll it out myself. And I tell you what, much easier, much faster. But I tell you what, using 00 flour when I would make pizza, okay. But then I switched to the semolina, and I said, let me give this a try. I've used semolina back in the day. Matter of fact, I would throw semolina on the peel, put it into the oven with. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But heck yeah,
So then the other thing that we did that I've done before in Italy, we went um, to a cesarina. A cesarina is it's a whole cottage industry in Italy where um, you go to it's a home chef. You go to the market with the chef. You pick out the fresh ingredients. Then you go back to his place, and then you cook it, and then you eat it. And it was it was very interesting not only to go to the market um, and get pick out this that which had the bruschetta and the nudi is what I wanted to talk to you about. Have
yeah.
you ever heard? Do you know what nudi is?
No, no.
Okay, and then we made tiramisu. But nudi is she describes it as ravioli on the inside. So what it is it's basically it's spinach, and they put in mixture of ricotta, garlic, salt, pepper, and flour, and then they roll it into a ball, and then flour that, and then drop it in a brown sage butter, and it's unbelievably
Wow,
delicious.
that does sound good.
And so nudi is it's nude ravioli. It's just because the flour and everything is on the inside, and
Hmm.
then it's got a coating of spinach and the ricotta, I guess, binds it together. So I got to make that sometime in the near future. But um, uh, that was one thing that we made. I had never. She said she wanted to make pasta with us. I said, okay, I've made pasta my entire life. I don't need to to learn to do that. She said, well, we could make nudi. I said,
Hmm.
okay. Just the way she said it, we can make nudi.
Yeah, that's yeah. I would take that the wrong way right off the bat.
It is. It's an Italian version of the word naked, nudi.
Hmm.
Gnudi, nudi. Um, so we did that. And the other thing that was interesting
You can come in.
that the breakfast, and anybody who's been to Europe knows this, European breakfasts are completely and utterly the opposite of what we do in the United States. I mean, there's no egg and sausage and toast, and you go to a bar, which is what little bakeries
I'm
are.
ready. I'm ready.
And
Is
then
is it breakfast time yet?
they have just pastries and uh, all kinds of baked items. There's one that I grew to love. It's called a budino. Budino is one, budini is multiple, but it's basically risotto in a in a ball and flour with a little
Oh,
hint of lemon to it. So it has a little bit of crunch to it, and not that the rice is still cooked, but it's rice embedded in this little ball of sweet dough. And I must have about 600 of those.
yeah.
And so you'd walk out to a bar. There's 1,000 bars everywhere you go, and the other thing that's interesting, you never pay at the table. They always have to go up and counter and pay. But you'd have a cafe americano, and my wife just learned not to order a latte because she starts ordering a glass of milk. She'd say she started ordering cappuccinos because she did that when we were in Rome last year. She ordered a latte when I wasn't there, and she came back with this glass of milk, and I looked at her and says, "You ordered a latte." But that was so you start off the day with a pastry or two, and then lunch is sometimes meat and cheese, and everything is served on fresh bread. There's an olive oil, and so you're eating a much different and much lighter way in terms of portions and calories than you would here. I mean, I did find my way to get some cereal and milk every once in a while because I just couldn't eat pastries every morning and unfortunately there was one right around the corner from our building that I could walk to without any problem.
Yeah.
But that was another thing that was, and the other thing that reminded me about the bread, well, they bring you bread at a table. They just bring you bread. There's no butter. Some places might bring you some olive oil, but for the most part, you're not getting bread and butter. You're getting fresh bread.
It seems so simplified. You know what I mean? Of what's on hand and what to use. Nothing. Everything seems to be like pretty fresh as far as what
Yeah.
was made for the day and stuff like that. Where here we are, I mean, aisle after aisle after aisle of stuff that just
Yeah.
we shouldn't be eating. Too
Right.
bad. By the way, everybody, Drunken Chef come out with a new says say less. It is a seasoning, a rub that he made with less salt in it. I prefer a little bit more salt. This stuff is good. It reminds me of an old school steakhouse seasoning on it. So I'm going to be featuring that on November 10th right here on the Sunday Dinner Chef of how I used it and stuff like that. And you can get this at www.drunkenchefrubs.com. Really good stuff, priced right. I urge people to get it. Really good. Anyway, that was my commercial.
Drunken Chef rubs. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. It reminds me of like when you go to Peter Luger's or something like that, and they would have it on a table. Um, Really good. It's got a nice peppery taste to it, and that's what you want with a piece of beef. So what I did was I made a tri-tip, regular Sunday dinner, and I used that for outside. Really good, really really good. So now, you did some cooking at home also. So I mean,
Yeah.
shopping wise must have been pretty easy, right?
Yeah. There are a couple. You get to know the stores around. There's we went to one large grocery store one time, um, and other than that, we did not. Um, there's a couple of smaller, kind of like almost convenience stores that you can do, but we made do with the little shops here and there. Um, we went to um, uh, mostly shopping daily because everything's fresh and you're not buying stuff for the week. You're buying, um, whatever. So we like one night we made crispy artichoke pasta. So we got some fresh pasta. We made fried some artichokes. It was just again another simple meal. Oh, I'll tell you what. I did two things that I was very proud of. So one night I was one of the first nights in our place. I wanted to make some breaded something, or I can't even remember what it was, eggplant or something, but no breadcrumbs. And I said, so um, I had some stale bread, and in one of the things they had a mini Cuisinart, mini food processor. So I took the bread and I made my own breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
And I said, well, Tom Garvey did this. I remember this. Well, you used
pork rinds.
pork rinds, right?
Yeah.
But you made your own. So, and then I couldn't find any crushed red peppers in a jar because that doesn't know. So I got some dried peppers and then took out the seeds and made my own crushed red pepper thing on the side. So that was, you make do with what you have. I learned
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Um,
see who I'm married to, Charlie. Okay, there was everything was done made from scratch. Breadcrumbs with crusty breads, whatever was
right,
done. Added stuff into it. Now out here, we had little little peppers and stuff like that. I see a lot of stuff up in the pantry with labels on it that what is this? You know what I mean? And but that's the way she grew up, and you know what? Nothing wrong with it.
right. But it was, I mean, so the shopping, we would go to probably 5 or 6 stores a day. You go to the little pasticceria to get some sort of baked good. Then we drop by um, to get sliced meat and cheese, formaggio and carne, um, and then maybe some place to get fresh pasta, and then another place. She had some nice pesto. Get some pesto there. Then the grocery, you go down and get some. They had good basilico and some green. And the other thing in Italy, you're not supposed to touch the vegetables and the fruit stands. No, 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 no. That's the job of the proprietor is to find the best for you, as opposed to
I
you
didn't.
saying, I had no idea either until, well, my wife got yelled at. She started saying, no, 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 no. But it became, that was the morning ritual. We would go out, we would, um, you know, do our morning thing. We'd go walk around, go to the different stores and, just kind of fill up for the day. Then we go do whatever we're going to do during the rest of the day and come back. If we're going to eat in, make dinner. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing we had almost every night, which is big enough. So Aperol spritz,
Oh, okay.
a little Aperol, a little Prosecco, um, and sliced orange. So there's a little wine store in Lucca that we went to, and I got to know us. We used so much prosecco that we'd go in, and my wife said, "Well, I think we're going to get a bottle of prosecco." He said, "Well, you got this bottle last time. Would you like another bottle of this?" And it, it was kind of a had the is that Jeannie? Is that
Jeannie,
Jeannie from
Florida.
Vlog Jeannie?
No, in the kitchen, a newer channel, but we have connected. Great channel. She's from does 6 months in Florida and back
In
to New York.
Colorado, right?
No, New York and New York and Florida. Me and her speak the same language. Okay.
Because there's another Jeannie that I'm friendly with who has a blog, and we've done some collaborations in the past. And she used to do YouTube, but I don't think she does any longer. Um, so I only saw this.
Did I ruin it for you? All right.
That's it. Yeah, I'm reading it myself. So just the whole day of the Aperol Spritz. So yeah, but that's another example of living in an environment for 3-4 weeks. You're getting to know everybody. The proprietors know you. They're not trying to upsell you anything. I said, this is good Prosecco. If you're putting in an Aperol, no, get this. And that was something we probably had at least 2 a night. Every night.
Nice. Nothing wrong with it. I mean,
yeah. Well, the other thing that I found very interesting was that alcohol is cheap there. You go out to dinner in the United States and you get a drink, you're anywhere from $12 to $15 for a drink.
Oh yeah,
even more, sometimes more. $6 and $7 or euros, €6 and €7 for a drink. Beer, birra, 3 or 4 euros. And I'm thinking, okay, well, works for me.
Yeah, going back to the cheese. Now, from my other channel, I dug into about my went to the doctor and all that bull crap. But there's a couple people that I follow. One guy's a scientist and he does metabolic. He's a PhD with metabolic syndromes and stuff like that. Matter of fact, he had a problem. But they just did a series on pecorino. Okay, they found out that in pecorino there's another medium chain triglyceride that's in there that's really good if you're type 2 diabetic with high insulin resistance. Okay, that this medium chain, it's an odd medium chain. I don't want to lose everybody here with that, but the only place that you can really get it and for it to be absorbed is pecorino. So he said he got his stuff. So I've been doing a lot of pecorino, slicing it down like that, having with that. And I got to tell you, my numbers are dropping. I said, now if they can only come around with some Scotch or Chianti, I'd be good.
But pecorino is used a lot, and I think if you look at the 4 famous Roman pastas, cacio pepe, carbonara, aglio. I mean, they're all of them.
Yep.
Use pecorino. They don't use Parmesan, and mostly because Parma's made up north, Parmesan's made in Parma. More sheep's milk, so more pecorino in most of the areas, especially on the coast. So we got used to it, and we're making carbonara. And I think I might have told you this at some point. My Italian teacher, I was showing her this carbonara recipe that we made with my son, and we used Parmesan, and she said, no Parmesan, pecorino. So they're very particular. In the authenticity of some of the dishes.
Yeah. In working with that chef, I I learned a lot from him. A lot of little tricks here and there, but the simpler the better. It always seems to work. I mean, look, if you're going to go out to a fancy Italian restaurant and order, like you said, spaghetti and meatballs, stay home. If you're going to do that, get it out of a can. I mean,
Right.
because that there's no sense. But just to get into like the specials and stuff that they would come up with, different cheeses and how things were cooked. Now I turn around because of intermingling with the two other, my other channel, trying to lay off the carbs a little bit more. Like I said, when I do this channel here, I make smaller portions, and Marie usually has, eats the pasta and stuff. But the past couple times I made the pasta, it was fantastic. Simpler, a lot easier with the different cheeses and stuff like that. So there's different ways that I'm trying to curb things, but yet you cannot sidestep some stuff. Is
Right.
my point. But this guy always taught me to simple, easy. You know, he, one other guy was making a sauce, and he wanted to know why. Why are you putting all this stuff in there? You're just going to cook it out. Just going to cook it all out. It's not going to be. It's not going to be there. You know what I mean? And he did define for me the difference between gravy and sauce. Okay, gravy was with meat. You put meat in it, or especially if it had a bone, then it was gravy. It's tomato gravy. If you did all just vegetables, then it's a sauce. I used to piss a lot of my Italian friends off with that. Okay, I would say one guy I knew, he just hated when anybody called it gravy. I'd say, "Hey, what kind of sauce you making today?" Yeah, son of a bitch. So but yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun working with that guy. I learned a lot, and just carried it on to till today. So just finished off.
Well, I want to say that when I was in Italy, I watched very few videos. I just didn't. I was busy doing crap. But I almost always watched yours because it felt like a little bit of home, and I always pick up a little tip here and there, and they, some of the stuff. You did some seafood stuff recently. I'm trying to think what it was.
It's some mussels and
yeah. I mean, it's just I enjoy your stuff. I just put you in another video too.
I got it.
Drinking wine.
I got an alert from YouTube. Okay, which the only time I get an alert from them is when we're arguing back and forth about how many views I got. You know what I mean? So I'll say you going to your store. You sold. I said, Jesus, 4 years I never saw. I bought an apron myself. So I said, it's got to be my Betty Charlie. It's got to be. And I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
So there's a great, I've used this picture of you multiple times, of you drinking red wine. And so whenever if I just mention your name, like somebody who my guest this past weekend was making avocado toast and loved the little spice thing that I stole from you.
The Charlie spice.
Tommy spice. And she looks at it and I said, yes, that's compliments of my friend Tom Garvey, who I stole it from. And so whenever I just say your name, I just flash your picture up like that. And it's so people who actually watch the video, they end up laughing and saying that. But I do put you in every once in a while just because I think it's funny.
We got some stuff that's coming up. I don't want to give away the farm or anything, but it's going to be pretty good. What I want to do, I know you're busy, very busy with things. Our collaborations that we're doing with the other, with our other channels and stuff. I don't know. Is that taking a turn somehow, or? I didn't really read.
Here?
I don't see anybody in here.
I'm gonna tread carefully.
Yeah, I got you.
I would say that Sandy was the driving force and the iron fist that held everything together. I
Okay.
think
Yeah, I
that's
got you.
undisputed. Um, so she stepped aside because she changed jobs and now she's a truck driver. Can't It just cracks me up thinking about her in between an 18-wheeler. But she's a commercial truck driver now. Doesn't have
Yeah.
time to do all this stuff. So it has there's some other people that have kind of taken the group into kind of a different direction. And then there's some others that have decided that they don't like the direction, so they want
That's
to. Um, there's a tug and pull and push. Um, and I've got. I'm not doing October because I just got back. I don't. To me, the November, the Thanksgiving one, overdone. And
yeah.
then I'm having knee surgery in December, so I'm not doing December either. But one of the points that did come out is a lot of these holidays are very American centric. They're U.S. centric.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're the only ones that celebrate July 4th. July 4th in England is a Tuesday. We celebrate Thanksgiving. Other countries have Thanksgiving, but not on that weekend. Everybody has Christmas. Well, I mean, Christian nations. So it was a point that I took, and I really like the different countries
Me
because
too.
it forces you to be creative. It forces
Mm-hmm.
you to be innovative. It forces you to learn and read and absorb about another culture in another country. And I love that. So whenever there's another country, I'm there. But,
Right. Right.
to do leftover Thanksgiving stuff, so, there's everybody and their brother does a Thanksgiving and, um, uh, leftovers, or what do I do with leftovers? And, it's just overdone. I'd
Yeah.
rather concentrate on my show.
I'm with you with that one. I mean, because I was sending an email. I must have missed something because I don't always check my emails. You know what I mean? I just sometimes I'll go there and I might have 50. For some odd reason, that just slips my mind. But I did get the one from the one person about what would like to do. You tell
Right.
me. I mean, I'm in this for the challenge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna make turkey croquet, or stuff like that. I
Right.
like the challenge going a little deeper. So I stayed out of it. But then I went. She said, well, it was asked me if I was it all right if she published my what I said. I
Right.
said, I don't care. It's wide open. I don't. I'm
That's,
here
I
with the
said
gang.
exactly the same thing. I said if I write it down and it goes out in an email, I have to assume that it's going to be seen by somebody somewhere. So if I'm writing it, it's okay.
So I did notice that they did put out for next year already. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to print that out and then just hang it up and
Yeah.
and go from there. So,
Well,
but all right, well,
I I like it. I think the group is interesting and different and diverse, and I like dealing with the different countries. To me,
yeah,
um, that's just continuing to learn and grow, and then also throw in something which we love to do, which is cook. So you're
yeah.
combining a couple different things.
We
Hope I didn't
I
offend anybody.
huh?
I said I hope I didn't offend anybody
Yeah. Well, you
who
know
might
what?
be listening.
There's no crying and cooking. Okay, let's put it that way. I don't know.
Yeah,
All right,
there's.
so get it.
We didn't mention any names. We didn't mention any names, so we're okay.
Yeah, and besides that, I don't. It is what it is. So getting back to
Yeah.
Italy, getting back to your
Yes.
beautiful vacation. That I got to tell you, I was sort of like looking. I said, "What? I hope he's all right." I didn't see anything, and then I seen you post something out. I said, "Here's my boy. he's putting it out." Now, I did see the one with the tiramisu because that just rang a bell. that hits me right here between the eyes because that's one of my favorite Italian desserts. And we used to do it in the Italian restaurant, and we had the one guy who did it. Uh, Very easy, coffee and stuff like that. Went through the whole routine with the lady fingers and stuff. But it looked like you did a little bit different.
Yeah, there's he Joe. We made it twice, three times. Um, Joe Russo made it once, or Cesarina made it once, and then we made it at home ourselves. We did a homemade version.
Hmm.
But Joe found these lady fingers that are smaller and they're crunchy. They're not soft.
Okay.
So they absorbed and held their shape much better. And uh, they use mascarpone, sugar, eggs, separated eggs,
Hmm.
uh,
Espresso.
espresso. See, um, and then you take the let's see, the whites on one side, the the yolks on the other side. You whip both of them. So the whites you can take and hold upside down in the sugar, and then you
Hmm.
fold them in, and then pour the coffee over um, the lady fingers, and then whipped cream or whatever on top. There's actually no whipped cream. Shouldn't say that. Only in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. They used to take this guy. He used to take the lady fingers and soak them in the espresso. Okay, and
Yeah,
then let it absorb, and then he laid them out and let them sit just a little bit, not a lot. And that gave it a pretty good flavor. But there were so many different ways of doing it.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, there's one place over here that we go to, the Tuscan Grill, Italian Tuscan Grill, and they're pretty good. A lot of them make it too sweet. A lot of it's way too sweet for me. You know what I mean? But the way we used to do it was pretty good.
Probably putting ricotta in with the mascarpone.
Yeah. You know what else my my wife, she turns around, she takes the ricotta and sour cream and squeeze a little bit of lemon in it, mixes it up, puts it in the refrigerator, gets it nice and cold. And I've been doing that a lot of times after dinner, rather than ice cream or something like that. Uh, Very good taste. Had a very, very good taste to it.
That's that is part of that's one of the South Beach diet go-to desserts.
Hmm.
There's I've made several ones. Soricota is the base. We have a little lemon extract, a little almond extract, little I uh, roast some slivered almonds, put those in. Um, Put in lemon, little lemon extract. I mean, you can do it with just about with anything. It adds a little bit of and also the fake sugar, the whatever.
Oh, it's stevia or something like that.
Yeah. Um, to give it a look. You may not need it. Sounds like you don't. But those,
Yeah.
yeah, those are I think they're keto friendly and
Oh
they're
yeah.
they're actually pretty good to a point. I think you get tired of them after about 2 or 3 weeks. You go, oh god, another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to make them. Used to make them in a. I'd get a tub of the ricotta and make that one thing of almonds, sliced almonds, slivered almonds. Then one thing of what else do we used to put in there? The lemon was one. Um, but anything that would go good with ricotta, um, it that was a great dessert and low cal, um, keto friendly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pretty tasty.
Uh, how about some wine, Charlie? I mean, did you indulge in any different types of wines and stuff?
We went to a couple. We went to a couple wineries. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I don't. I, I'm the kind of wine drinker. When I go there, yes, I'll take a glass of white wine and I'll put some ice cubes in it. Um,
That's
just keep
me.
it going.
That's me.
Um,
I
a
got to
lot of
call you.
prosecco. Um, but I mean, again, it's like most of the ingredients and products there. It's all fresh. Um, some are better than others, I guess. but the wines themselves that we had, again, we had a sommelier in the wine store.
Hmm.
Say, what do you like? You dry, you sweet, da, da, da. And then he'd suggest something, and we go, okay. And you just go home and drink it, and they all seem to work pretty well.
Yeah,
I
I'm
couldn't tell you
like,
what the other.
yeah, I'm like with the impression of, like I keep saying it, simpler the better. Just,
Yes,
it's more the experience, I think, than anything else. Lemons, fresh lemons. I mean, everything, right from the tree, bring it in. You don't get any fresher than that. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And that's what I would like. I was telling Marie, I said, I says, might be worth saving up the rubles and taking a little trip. But
Going to South Ireland.
yeah, I
Um,
got. I'll make it to Reno as far as I can get it.
wow, it's one of the things that you have talked about, and I have found to be true over the last couple of years, kind of on a descending scale, is the amount of food that we eat. Now, you famously, we eat maybe a meal a day, have a little something during the day, but you only eat really one meal a day.
Hmm.
Um, and that's one of the things I found as you age. You just don't. I don't eat as much. We don't eat as much. Used to go and order two entrees, and now, I don't. I know the waiter looks at us like, "Oh, you cheap old people." We're split an entree because I can't eat it.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
but I think that goes in hand with simple. You don't have to overdo it. You just have something simple, and you don't have to have a lot of it. Um, so whenever we go out, I'm a little probably self conscious about ordering stuff to split because I don't want someone to think that we're cheap. It's that no, we're old and we don't eat as much.
yeah, exactly. And the whole idea is, I'm, because of the other channel, this channel opened up to. I have great memories growing up. Uh, Sunday dinner. I was the youngest, so the older brothers and sister would come over for dinner. It was mandatory, and that always stuck with me. That was, that's why I do Sunday with Sinatra on Facebook and all that stuff because that's all old memories. But the way they cooked, okay, what they cooked, that was the big thing for me to start this channel. So, but trying to keep, I mean, I'm a type 2 diabetic, so if I even started to spell tiramisu, my sugar would go up. You know what I'm saying? So, but just I'm learning a little bit here and there because if it throws me off, I'm out for a couple days. You know what I mean? We're trying to get it back in line again.
Right.
But I've noticed if I do make the fresh pasta, okay, which I really do enjoy, if I have just a little bit, it doesn't bounce me like it used to because I'm only eating. Now, usually I have two short meals. I have a couple scrambled eggs later on in the afternoon. Only when I'm hungry. If I'm hungry, and then I'll cook. And 9 times out of 10, I'll set the camera up. Let's see if this is going to work for something, whatever. But every day we make something different. I try to cook so I don't have any leftovers because that'll just keep going on and on and on. But I gave up coffee. That was almost as bad as I'm telling you, Charlie. That was almost as bad as me quitting smoking. If they told me I couldn't drink anymore, I'm whoa, hold on. But the coffee, I mean, I feel so much better. Plus, my blood sugar numbers went down. So I dug into it, had did a little more research on it, like I like to do, and it comes to find out that this is a hot or cold cup. Okay, it's a 16-ounce cup.
Right.
This is what I would have 3 of these of coffee. That's
Okay.
32 ounces. That's 32 ounces. So an 8-ounce cup of coffee is 3 carbs, 3 to 6 carbs, depending. Okay, that's I would have there. I counted one day I had 102, and I'm wondering why I felt like crap. So yeah, it was a change. It had to be change things up because, like I said, I just turned 70, so we're still trying to get that in order. So I'm not human.
So what's the metaphysical reasoning from coffee? It's just the carbs. It's the
Okay,
are
well,
you putting cream in it? Are you drinking it black?
no, I put everything I use is heavy cream. I don't use regular milk because heavy cream, uh, there is no sugar in it. Okay,
Okay.
whatsoever. It's all basically natural. It's more higher in fat. The whole idea with keto is fat. To eat the good fat, the right fat, so you
All right.
stay satiated throughout the day. With coffee, the way I was drinking it, I'm sure I can get away with 1 or 2 cups here and there. You know what I mean? But from having an empty stomach, waking up still kind of full from dinner from the night before, so I'm like 16 to 18 hours before I eat again. Now, if I want something, I just go and have it, but that's the habit you got to break. But getting away from the coffee was actually irritating me more than helping me. Some people, there's some rules of thumb, in a low carb world where if you have coffee, black coffee is okay, but the carb count is kind of high. When I say high, 3 to 6 carbs in it. So you're figuring out I'm on 20 carbs or less throughout the day. So if you figure that, I'm way over my 20 carbs, and
Right.
then I try to have something else. So the whole idea was I was feeling like crap, and my sugar was going up. All of a sudden now, sugar's
I'm
it's
trying to get to the feel like crap because I have 2 cups of coffee every morning
mhm.
without fail. Um, and I don't know that it makes me feel bad, but I don't know. I can't say that it's not. I can't say that it's making me feel good. So I'm not. Now you're making me really question the whole thing. I mean, I'm not counting carbs, but
Yeah, no,
that
no, I get it. The sad part about it was, all right, is that Marie all of a sudden now she's starting to say, well, maybe it is the coffee because like I said, we don't have nothing. Of course, I'm not hungry, but I'm just to have the coffee because I gotta have fun. I started drinking tea. Okay,
all
I
right.
felt like a limey, So hey, mate. So, but uh, no problems, no problems, no stomach issues, no just do my blood. Um, it's okay, it's okay. But I had to cut it. I had, and the only reason why is because of these big stupid cups
Right.
overindulging in it. You know what I'm saying? And having 3 of these was the killer.
So, what is the tea herbal and non caffeine, or is there caffeine in it?
No, 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 no. It's regular tea bags. With the caffeine and stuff. The
So it's not
caffeine
the
don't really.
caffeine. It's not the caffeine that's the issue. Okay.
No, yeah, it's not the caffeine. I mean, I could drink. I'm the type of guy I could drink coffee at night and go to sleep. I would have no
Right.
problems with
I'm
that.
with you.
Okay,
Yeah, I
but
don't.
I was always afraid of tea because the old wives said, "Well, you have too much tea, that'll do something like that." But I feel much calmer with stuff. I mean, especially I take my grandson to work every day, and I get up and I got the coffee and I'm driving through the traffic in Las Vegas, and half of the people are drunk because they just left the casinos. You know what I'm saying? At 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm much calmer, right? Hey, how you doing? Hey, that type of stuff. But it did trick something off. Now, am I going to stay away from it all the time? No, I won't do that. But I'm just trying to exactly figure out, did it have a lot of problems with me? I did, and just so I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. Just like even with alcohol, people turn around and say, "Well, you're an Irishman, you drink a lot." Well, I used to, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but when I have alcohol, my blood sugars go down. Figure that one out. So I said to my doctor, I said, "Why does that happen?" Well, you got to be careful with that because it may cause cirrhosis. And hold on a minute, my blood sugars, insulin's super high. My blood sugar's high. Insulin's not working. But why does the alcohol bring it down? Well, I guess they don't want to have a bunch of drunks running around, lowering their blood sugar, through, Chevitz Regal or Jameson's or something, But they couldn't answer my question. They just simply could not answer my question
Well,
why that happens.
that's another thing that I feel simpatico with you, that I've never really been a big drinker. I mean, if I have two drinks, that's a lot. But I don't think I sleep very well, and I don't really feel great the next day. And it's not that I'm hungover. There's just a malaise, or I just I so I rarely drink anymore. And if I do drink, I maybe have one drink. And I used to, when I was working, and I'd make a grocery list, and I remember when I was working in an office, there's a woman who we had these desks right across from each other, and I make a list, and I wrote down everyday vodka, and she said, "What the hell's everyday vodka?" I said, "Well, you have the good stuff, and then you got the stuff you use every day." She looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, "Okay, I guess that didn't sound
That's funny.
great."
That's funny as that's funny as hell. And it's not the. I mean, I don't drink every day. I mean, Jesus, I don't even know the last time I had a glass. Well, a couple of videos ago, I guess I had a glass of wine. It's not there for that. I there's a couple good factors in a good. I like a Chianti. It's a blended. It's got a lot. Resveratrol that's in it. It's good for your antioxidants and stuff like that. I mean, to get drunk, I can just there's no. I'm old. What the hell I got to get drunk for? You know what I mean? I ain't going nowhere, so it don't make any sense. So, but my point is to every once in a while you got to break the cycle. Even with carbs, I'll go a month or two and I will eat strict. With my vegetables, I like to have my vegetables. That's why I can't stay with the carnivore too long. But anyway, I like to have. I'll have a baked potato. I'll have some pasta. That's my favorite go-to because I make a little bit of it, and that's it. Like I said,
Right.
no leftovers, and I got to be mindful of my wife. Okay, there's nothing wrong with her. So in the long run,
I guess
she
that's a compliment.
yeah. Well, no, there is nothing wrong with her. I mean, we went to the doctor yesterday, and she
Hey,
said, "Come in
Marie,
with."
there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say. I mean, I'm just digging a hole here, and I. Oh, she already put me in the story, Charlie. She killed me off in the story. But the the fact of the matter is, she don't want to be on no pills, and she turned around and said, "Hey, listen to the doctor yesterday. Look, there's certain things I just don't want to, know from, and that's it, So, yeah, that's where we're at with it. I enjoy with my videos and stuff, and I enjoy to eat. So I'm gonna make what I want when I want it. Okay,
Yeah.
and I've been dealing with this problem for 30 years now. So it's just to help some other people.
So you've been a diabetic for 30 years?
Well, no, actually, let's see. Yes, well, since I was diagnosed with bladder cancer, okay, and they started me with this treatment, okay, and from the treatment, they did some problems to my liver, and that's how I developed type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. I don't want to make this into the the medical
Yeah.
hour. I have to tell you this little funny thing. So I'm getting my knee replaced first week in December 3rd. And so I go for a pre-op for the consultation that they take blood, and they're talking to me about all kinds of stuff. And then they come back to me and says, "Well, all your meds look good except for your sodium." And I'm thinking, "Oh God, is it through the roof?" Because I use a lot of salt. I said, "Yeah, I know it's probably a little bit too high." And they said, "Oh no, on the contrary, it's too low." I said, "What?" They said, "No, your sodium is too low." And I said, "How is that even possible?" And
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
said, "Well, do you drink a lot of water?" I said, "Yeah, I drink water all day long." He says,
Mhm.
"Well, I think you're drinking too much water and you're diluted. You're seriously, you're diluted and everything. So we need you to stop drinking so much water." And I think, oh my God, this is the first time I've heard this, that your sodium is too is too low. And So anyway, I thought that was a
The,
little.
so I mean, but it's all relative, Charlie. I mean, you don't want to turn it into the geriatric channel, but uh, but yeah, but I mean, here we are. The same idea is what you put up here is how you feel with it. You know what I mean? I'm on my podcast. I'm really talking about the people about stress. Okay, how you can get stressed out just from doing what we're doing right now. Get stressed out of your mind with it. Listen to the conversation and get half crazy about it, and then go eat something, and then your blood pressure's through the roof.
Right.
So yeah, it's a big especially getting older. You know what I mean? For me, driving around here with the traffic is ridiculous. All right, but with that said, eat salt. Go for it. Your blood pressure. That's a snapshot in time. You can't get the same blood pressure measurement 10 minutes after you had the first one. The numbers just don't come up the same way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the point I'm trying to get across to my doctor. And she just puts her head down like this. And I said, Am I right? Am I right or wrong? She said, Well, you're right, to a little bit, to a degree. So, but the whole trick of the matter is I went from 13 to 14 medications. I'm down to 3. So, I said, I tried your way. Now, it's not working. So I'm going to do my approach if you don't mind. So,
Absolutely.
Okay. So anyway, getting to your we can wrap this up pretty soon if you.
Okay.
What do you miss now that you're home from?
I do kind of miss just the lifestyle of living in an Italian city where the city Lucca we were in for 4 weeks. No, there really are no cars allowed in the city. It's a walled city, 2.5 miles around, and the streets are about this wide. And cars are, for the most part, not allowed. So it's just very much of a walking environment. Instead of going to a big Kroger, we have Metro Market here. I don't know what they have at Albertsons or whoever they are.
Yeah, Albertsons.
West. It's a huge supermarket, little shop where the proprietor knows you, and the eating is simpler, and to travel, it's not a big deal to travel to someplace different. Like we went to 6 or 8 different places by train. We're there. I miss the weather, but just the pace of life on a day-to-day basis was not, going to your point about stress. There wasn't a lot of stress, because what do you have to be stressed about? Is there out of cherry tomatoes for for salad? Just go to the next store, down the road.
That to me. See, that to me is the way to live. I mean, you could do it out here if you're out in the desert, searching for water or whatever. But that low energy type of thing, where you going? Oh, I'm gonna get ready for go get dinner, bring it home, whatever. Everything is so much simpler. I don't know. Marie says to me every time I come back from the store, she says, you should do a live podcast and de-stress, because I'm ready to kill somebody or yelling or screaming or something. You know what I mean? About it. And that's bad. That's not good for what we're doing here. You gonna go back?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it made me think of another thing that because we didn't have a car, and either took taxis or walked everywhere, and we almost walked everywhere. So in Viareggio there was a promenade down on the water side, on the Mediterranean side, no cars, but people just strolling, just half a mile, 3/4 of a mile down, walk back, walk down, and have a little gelato. You walk to the store. You You don't get in your car and drive to the supermarket. You walk to the store. And the same when we were in Lucca, because they have this it's a walled city all the way around, and the wall is probably 200 yards across. It's huge.
Wow.
We would get bikes and go around the perimeter. We would walk up to the wall. Of course, there were bars up on the top of the wall, so you can, stop there and get an Aperol spritz. But the combination of an easier, less stress lifestyle and the preponderance of available exercise, and also the weather was great. The combination allows you to just zen out.
Yeah,
at least it
because
did for us.
well, since you went there, and you had said to me which cities and stuff you were going to go, so I went on YouTube and I did a little people that lived there moving from the U.S. I don't know how that works, either it's 6 months or whatever, or 3 months,
Right.
whatever, and keep coming back and forth, back and forth, and you could see the difference from. I mean, they bought some old, beat up houses and stuff like that, renovated them, and then they do, I don't know, 3 months here and they go back and come back, back and forth, back and forth. And they say the lifestyle is just night and day,
Oh
different,
yeah.
with the stress
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I guess, you know, walking. The one guy was pretty big. He was a good sized guy, and he put the camera on, or whoever doing the filming, put the camera on him. Okay, showed his size, and then showed the little walkway that you had to go through. Kept going back and forth, and they said that they need somebody under the side so they don't let people come walking through, so he can get through to the other side. But yeah, I mean, God Almighty, we take so much, we let so much crap bother us over, in the U.S. here. That's really nothing we can control. Really
Oh,
can't.
the other thing that was so much less stressful is for 6 weeks there was not one election advertisement.
That's for sure. That's for
No,
sure.
no advertising at all
Yeah.
for elections. So that was, a positive. Um, but yeah, you'd mentioned the way the visas work there. You can go to an EU country. It's called the Schengen visa, is a misnomer because you don't really need an actual visa. But you have 6 months. You can be in the EU countries for 90 days in a 6-month period.
Okay.
So every 6 months, you can be there for 90 days. Now you can go to England and Ireland and Wales and Scotland because they're not in the EU,
Right.
and you can be there for an extended period and then come back. But in terms of Italy, France, Portugal, Spain, etc., 90 days max inside of a 6-month time period.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I looked all over. I'm back to my motherland. I looked and see what the pace of life and everything like that. And the first clip that come up was them protesting about immigration. I said, get out of there, delete that one. Not going to worry about that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. I mean, we like our food. We like to talk about food, how it's made, and stuff like that. And just from watching some of the videos that you did put up on Facebook and stuff, it was really interesting. And I like that. I like the way you did it, and
Thank you.
it was eye opening. Let's put it that way. So, all right, you
I
know
have
what,
one
Charlie?
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, go
No, I
ahead.
said one more thing that I ate there that I wanted to tell you about, and then I'll shove off. But so in Viareggio, which is a seafood place, it's a fishing village beach resort place. I had this seafood carpaccio, which was smoked tuna, smoked swordfish, and smoked salmon, all paper thin. I mean, just you could see through the salmon. I mean, the tuna and the swordfish. It was that thin,
Wow.
and just a little dribble of olive oil, a little slice of some lemon on there and capers. Oh my god! Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Can't
mean,
find that here.
and yeah. Well, I was going to say. and something like that over here, you would probably have to take out a car loan for it,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
to pay
$80
for
where
it.
they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole sad thing about it, But anyway, all right, Mr. Charlie, I do appreciate you so much. Thank you for buying the apron, by the way. You know, I,
Go ahead,
I,
go ahead and buy half a bottle of Chianti now.
no, I got a spatula. Well, we got to do this again. We got to finish up. I know there's a lot more that you did and stuff,
Anytime, my friend.
and I think we need to do that. So listen, I'll be in touch with you. Maybe we'll do a little live cook or something, or something. Maybe I'll let you do.
I'm with you. Anytime.
Yeah.
Let's work it out.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Now, don't forget, everybody, check out Charlie on Saturdays. He'll post it about he brings with a give a little bit about that, Charlie, too, about your Milwaukee leaders.
So it's cooking with Milwaukee community leaders, where we have various community leaders of all types, nonprofits, foundations, government, colleges, sports teams, whatever, come in. We talk about their work in the community, and then we cook something, and then we eat it. So,
Yeah.
and then I'm getting ready to start just a straight podcast. We'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
But food fluent influencers in the city. But that's our weekly show on Saturdays. Cooking with Milwaukee community leaders.
Sounds good. Okay, with that said, thank you everybody for watching. I do appreciate it. We will check you out probably in a week or 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. We'll get together.
All
I mean,
right.
holidays are coming up, and you'll be out on your with your knee and stuff. So, all right, everybody, thanks.
Absolutely.
Charlie,
All right,
stick
see
around.
y'all. Thanks, everybody.